Welcome to Akhand Vidyashram, the first institute of impeccable wisdom. Let's discuss what pranayam, the divine breathing exercises, the 4 stages of Akhand Yoga. Now, the first thing which comes to my mind is I have taken so many births before. As a result, I am able to give world Devyang, the divine designer, first time in the history of mankind in 2015 only, is a result of thoughts, actions, and other things for janmas, which is some effect is within me, and with that I am moving on to this relieve this disease because I remember everything of every life, and that's it. Now, first thing which comes to my mind is the Bhakti Yoga, the devotion for the divine nature, which has created everything perfectly from the day one till today. And that is represented as the center of my consciousness. Me, Antaratma, and Paramatma are divinity, all put together are the one which give me the knowledge of the entire universe within my human body itself, and same beauty I find in Vedas, Upanishads, and some other Sanskrit scriptures. And the retranslation with the original concept of Divyank, I think I've been able to do something which has never been done in the history of mankind by anyone to the extent of Ganit Vidya, to that an extent. Now come the first thing which comes to my mind, as long as you are perfectly truthful person, non-violent, compulsive otherwise, and doing dharma perfectly, doing actions, thoughts, business with dharma, truth, and actions also with dharma, truth, and otherwise, only then you are free from freedom of all the constraints or restraints of life, and that is moksha. And you could be a walking, talking encyclopedia for the entire world based on that particular concept. The strength of the mind, thoughts, action is the most important, which makes a human being realize we are not born anything. Even if you have born with it, you got to redo again and implant the knowledge in your brain, and then speak as walking, talking encyclopedia. Only that person is a reflection of the universal consciousness. Now come to the question of Sanatana Dharma does talk about Yantra Vidya, Mantra Vidya, and Tantra Vidya. 3 things are known very well. The 4th element, which is not very clear in Ved, Upanishads, or Sanatana Dharma, is Ganit Vidya, the divine mathematics. Only with divine mathematics you can come to the clarity, because entire object is based on mathematics, which is divine in nature, not man-made concept which the whole world is talking about. Physics is based on man-made, chemistry and medical science. That's the reason we have all the deficiencies in the world, and I want to literally reduce that to zero and move on to the higher levels of consciousness. Then come to the consider Akhand Yoga, that this is where you rise from lower consciousness of Mooladhara, which has 4 petals, to Sahasrara Chakra, which has 1024 petals, and you are literally center of your own body, from ventricles of the brain to the earth, to all the planets, to the solar system, and right up to pole star. When everything falls into the place, only then you come to Akhand Yoga, you and universal consciousness one. That is objective of Tantra Vidya and Yoga Vidya, by and large. As I would say, if you want impeccable wisdom, you have to have perfect wisdom. Perfect wisdom, you have personal knowledge. Perfect knowledge, you have the perfect theory. And perfect theory, you should have perfect experience. Once that is done, only then you can move on to very well to the next stage, step by step. And once this is done, I think you are very clear to the universal consciousness, step by step. Now, Maharishi Patanjali talks about Patanjali Yoga Sutra. He wrote the whole thing 3000 years. He is the most genuine and exponent of yoga, and I give him all the credits to bring the yoga word, mental aspect to the world very clearly. And he said, in Patanjali, this is how the exposition starts of yoga itself. The first thing which he talks to yogis is chitta vritti niro. Stop the fluctuation mind, only that is yoga. That is his concept, and I totally agree with it. But there are certain questions which come. You can stop the fluctuation mind with the drugs and so many defective things. They are not yoga. They create a lot of kleshas, a problem, or psychosomatic disorders. What could give us impeccable wisdom by using the stoppage of fluctuation mind, what it means, and what does Maharishi Patanjali himself talks about it. Now he says the third sutra, after yoga the genuine own state is established. That means there is something which happens only once the mind is controlled at rest and in the samadhi state, even state of the mind. Till even state of the mind, Antaratma will not speak to you. And that is what goes on to the next stage. The fourth, he says, only that which is Antaratma is fine. Anything other than that is the state which is different, and that is the root cause of fluctuation of the mind. And fifth, he says there are 5 different kinds of kleshas which should be understood. And this is again bringing 5 elements, 5 bhutas, mantras, and other things into the picture. I think that has to be kept in mind. This has to be understood. Only then you will know what this perfection all about or impeccable wisdom all about. Now come to the 4 stages of yogasana very clearly. Samadhi pada, sadhana pada, vibhuti pada, kaivalya I have already explained. My spiritual experience, the perfect physical health, no falling sick, the perfect emotional health, perfect mental social health, perfect education and wisdom, adequate abundance of prosperity, and a science of sharing money, wisdom, everything for the love of it, for the benefit of the entire world, and every mineral, plant, animal, human being should be taken into consideration. Your knowledge is for everyone. No likes and dislikes, no rag and dvesh, only vairag, tyag, sannyas for everyone. Only that person is in tune with universal consciousness. Then Akhand Yoga makes it very clear. Patanjali Chit Vritti knows, stop the fluctuation mind. Only then Chetana would arise. Once Chetana arises, make use of the mind to understand along with Chetana the entire universe, external and inside. Make optimum use. Only that is Akhand Yoga. Only Chetana will give you the thing when your mind is controlled, and only that is done, and I think that is to be understood in Akhand Yoga. Now come to the question of 10 stages: Yama, Niyama, Yogasana, Pranayam, Pratyahara, Dharana, Samadhi, and then there are 8 Ashtanga Yoga. Then Chakra Yoga is the Kundalini Yoga, and Antara Yoga is internalization of the Kundalini within the ventricles of brain, and also descent Adi Prashakti into the ventricles of brain. Only one insight from that you can see the entire universe as such. Once you understand that, you are moving on to the next stage. Then I have spoken about Yama, the 5 virtues by and large, first stage of Akhand Yoga. And the virtues of Satya, the truth, Ahimsa, non-violence, Asita, non-theft, Brahmacharya is a great character, and Apigraha none. And once these 5 are done very well, only then you are fit enough to move on to your consciousness, otherwise not at all. Anyone who is not truthful, who is not non-violent, who is stealing things, who doesn't have a great character, who is acquiring things more than required, can never move on to the higher levels of consciousness, and that's it. Then comes to the question of prayer. The greatest thing is Maharishi Yajnavalkya talks very clearly. Astoma Satyamya. Please lead me from untruth to the truth. That is the most important part. Then Tamsoma Jyotir Satyamev Jayate. That is required as far as next is concerned. Truth will always win. Then Satyam Shivam Sundaram. Only the truthful, honest, truthful person, every human being is like Lord Shiva, and only that person is beautiful. He does everything perfection for himself and everybody. And I'm not talking about Lord Shiva. Every human being has Lord Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiv, all the 3. Only that person is Satyam, and that person is Shivam, and that person is Sundaram. Then comes the Niyam, the foundation disciplines. First are the virtues which are inner code of the Atma itself, are Antaratma and Paramatma. Then you got to learn certain disciplines to lead your health system very carefully. That is the Niyams. That is second stage of Akhand Yoga. And what are those things? This concept is very good. Tamsoma Jyotirgamaya. From that darkness which I do not know, I want the light. And that light comes only through actions and thoughts and processes of niyams alone. First you are born, which is the quality of satya. From asatya is one part. Here you start action. And important things are Saucha is the purity, Santosh is the contentment, Tapa is the austerity, increasing heat in the body, which makes you mobile, dynamic otherwise. Then self-study is Svadhyay and Ishwar Pranidhana. And you got to realize that only Antaratma within you or Paramatma within you will give you the knowledge, not you other side. It is not a blind faith in God, and I do believe we are created the best, but you should know the who created it. Only that person is going to reveal when you ask the questions like that. And these are the 5 disciplines which have to be done, which can make you to the next stage of consciousness. Then comes to the yogasana, the basic principle exercises. These are the stretches within physiological limits to make you perfect human being. And here I talk about skeletal muscles, smooth muscles, and cardiac muscles. When all the 3 muscles are exercised properly, only then you become perfect in yogasana, the basic thing. Then you can sit comfortably in position, do all the works, even in 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 100 plus 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 plus, and you remain dynamic like a 21 years person all your life, and that is yogasana. Then with that, only that yogasana in that particular thing will take you from death to immortality. Only dynamic body which has perfection of A to Z can think of immortality or amrit within that. Then yogasanas are the postures which make you sit comfortably and things like that. I have already spoken about it. And that will make your heart very powerful. Cardiac muscles work 2.25 times more because they use fatty acids, not glucose. And once that is understood, you move on to the next stage perfectly, understanding biochemistry completely. And then digestion system also is the smooth muscles which take care of all the water requirement. Things are automatically taken, plus the other things of the smooth muscles, including vascular thing, Wervel's spry and other muscles which are all connected with smooth muscles. All of them should be perfect within you. That's it, whether male or female. No deficiency in skeletal muscle, no deficiency in smooth muscles, no deficiency in cardiac muscles. That would be that. And 7th stage of that, every female by and large is also done with the smooth muscles, and that muscle will make sure that if you have been perfectly yogasana, doing work accordingly, pregnant or not pregnant, you will be perfect. And a pregnant woman who has been very deficient in work would land up in cesarean. The person who has been very active in totality would have a normal delivery within the short time of starting the pain, and delivery without even feeling the pain of it. It will be a joyful thing for her, and that is what I am talking about. Control of skeletal, smooth and cardiac muscle put together, you will have a fantastic delivery, you will have a fantastic life. And Surya Namaskar is the ideal thing because there are 12 stages, and once done, the entire, almost every aspect of the body is completely taken care of, because it is with Mantra Yoga, Yantra Yoga, Tantra Yoga and Ganit Yoga all put together as in Surya Namaskar. Then Vajrasana is the best position to sit and do your exercises, and particularly after eating food, sitting in that, digestion will be good, everything will be good. You will be able to understand Apana Prana, Samana Prana, Prana Prana, Udana Prana and Vayana much better in this position, and that's it. Then come to Sirsasana is something, because venous system is 61.8%, which is primarily in the legs part. So your calf muscle are the second heart, and that has to be function. And this is one of the easiest way to let the whole venous blood come back to the heart and get oxygenated in the lungs and go back to the body. So this regular exercise every day would make the circulation much better in the process. And as you have seen in delivery, while delivering, head comes down, and that's it. This is exactly the same representation. Now coming to the question of pranayam, by and large, which is the breathing technique. This is a divine breathing you got to exercise. Only person who's able to absorb oxygen from the atmosphere is very clear, and able to expel 61.8034% of carbon dioxide is the perfect breathing, and that's the fourth stage of thing. So understanding the prime function respiration is absorption of oxygen 100%, and then releasing 61.803% of carbon dioxide and retaining other thing for hydrochloric formation in the stomach and kidneys. Once that is understood, you understand the pranayam very clearly. Now come to the question. Pranayam means the art of breathing. Without right breathing, it will be dead. But unfortunately, schools are not teaching it perfectly. I have already made it again. Schools teach the exchange of gases, respiration, which is not true. Do not exchange all the gases. Only gases which are exchanged is absorption of oxygen, which is vital, and expulsion of 61.81 carbon dioxide only. Remaining is retained. Once you have the knowledge specific to that particular thing, which is from Divyang, and your whole system is designed according to that, only then you will have a perfect knowledge, including active inspiration is 38.1966% of the time, and passive is 61.8034%. Once that is understood that you are divine, only then you will be perfectly healthy person with all the oxygen required. Then you will be able to use your carbohydrate, proteins and fatty lipids very clearly and lead a perfectly healthy life for all the muscles, smooth muscles, skeletal muscles and cardiac muscles together. Now the design of breathing, as I have already told again, inspiration 38.196%, expiration 61. That's how the whole system is, and I have put into this. This is according to this. Once you understand this particular structure as such, I think you are perfectly fine. Now this particular thing, cardiopulmonary resuscitation, is something which I am bringing it together because most of the people say when somebody falls in that, do mouth to mouth breathing, which is definitely not useful. It is contraindicated as of, this is a waste of time, because oxygen cannot move in a person in whose circulation is not there. That's one thing which I am making it very clear for everybody. First bring circulation into the picture and then only breathe oxygen. And for that, just lift the legs up. Venous blood like your Sahasrara come back to the heart, because SA node with which heart starts is at the right atrium. The place where the blood enters is where SA node is placed, and venous return pressure is the stimulus for SA node. Only then heart will start functioning, not for the breathing. This is the concept, and after that you can help in other things to make sure this is done. So this is also a part of the pranayam which should be understood. If somebody happens, do this immediately and then raise the heart, let the circulation come, increase the venous pressure, and things would be perfectly fine. That's my advice to everybody, including anesthetists. Then come to the question of breathing exercise. The most important breathing exercise is the sectional breathing, and which is first thing is abdominal breathing. First that concentrate in the lower abdomen and then breathe in and breathe out only in lower abdomen, nothing other than that. That means it's like a ara of lower part, akara, lower abdomen has to be exercised. And second thing, exercise the chest, thoracic breathing, then to the clavicle and then to the higher, literally Om. Start from down, then to chest, then to the clavicle, to the head and to the higher consciousness. Once this breathing is done, established completely, only then you know the art of breathing. Without that, breathing is absolutely no use at all. Then come to the question of blood balancing, and I've been making it very clear. We breathe from left nostril to start, then go to the right nostril in 45 minutes, and 45 minutes from right nostril we come back to the left. This cycle of 90 minutes is absolutely designed with nature. Nobody, even Ashok Chakras, 12 hours divided into 8 petals only, and Rahu column is for 90 minutes. And once this is done clearly, you established or breathe from left to the right and right to the left, such a clear there is no block in the nose. Once all the block is removed and you go, that this natural breathing itself will make sure that you are perfectly healthy. That's a natural breathing we have to establish to remove all the blocks in the nasal palate as well as throat or the larynx completely. Then come to the Bhastrika is the most important part, where you move the lower abdomen very fast and then leg, and once that is done, only then you reach that particular venous process much, all the blocks in the body including heart, arteries and veins would open up, and you will not have any coronary artery block at all, because all the blocks are, but because there is not enough venous pressure return back. Once that is established, Bhastrika is the best way, like enhanced external respiration itself, EECP. And once that is done, I can tell you, you will not have any heart problem, you will not have any block, you will have no block in anywhere in the body. And you got to take care of the entire system from top to the bottom with the help of Bhastrika, and all the things are designed in such a way that your movement is fantastic. This is a particular process, I would say, with Bhastrika. When you increase the pressure inside, only things will go up to the higher level much better. Then Kapalabhati is when you breathe through the nose and breathe through the mouth. You through this and then move, and then all the chakras in the upper side would become perfect. In Bhastrika, lower abdomen is cleaned, but Kapalabhati, chest and head, all the three are both are cleaned, including the lung, this abdomen also. And Kapalabhati, if done properly, all the blocks in chakras and nadis will be completely eradicated. And you can see that you are you're taking through the nose and throwing through the nose, and the abdomen going in. Another thing, picture is very clear on Kapalabhati. Then the whole thing is getting cleaned as such. Now Shitla, as after doing this exercise, when body temperature increases, you got to do exercise to cool the whole system down, and that is what is required. You can see in this particular picture. You can open, then take slowly and open it. Then this will be a cooling thing, the whole process. And once that is done, you bring yourself body temperature to the level which is normal, like 37 degrees or 98.4 degrees. That has to be maintained. Too cold, too high temperature is not ready. That is what tapasya is all about. Now Surya Vedana is a sit in Padmas, close the eyes. Slowly inhale through the right nostril, then sit in close and retain the breath for some time, and then exhale to the other side. This is to be done very carefully, otherwise, which also you can do yanta to Udana Prana to take it to higher consciousness. If that can be done comfortably, fine. And then this is the process, you literally call it, take it and choke it up, take it, choke it up. And then whole circulation will make sure that all the blocks in the higher centers of chakras also get cleared completely. Then Ujjayi, sit in Padmasana, close the mouth and inhale slowly through both the nostrils. Retain the breath for a comfortable period and then exhale through the left nostril by closing the right nostril within. This practice removes the heat from the head. Concentration on the tip of the nose while breathing helps increasing the concentration power as well as opening of the clairvoyance facility. Pranayam given above are just initial guidelines, and special techniques and different can be learnt over a process under the supervision expert. Preferably, we can do wonders in time and space, step by step, and everything should be learnt step by step, never too fast. Warm up the body and then move on slowly and steadily. Then this is the Ujjayi thing which goes on very well. Once you do that and you retain the thing and you get into Samadhi state very clearly. So essence by and large of pranayam is be systematic, disciplined, do yogasanas properly, and then do pranayam. And then take the oxygen and expel carbon dioxide, and once that is done, only then your body will be completely in tune with yourself. The whole objective is to balance the process of taking inspiration, oxygen, and carbon dioxide. And this, once that is done, I think you go on to the next stage in a much better way. And this is the last stage. I think this is enough. Once we learned how to follow yamas, 5 virtues, then niyam, 5 disciplines, then yogasana systematically, and then pranayam. Once these 4 things are the preparatory exercises which will take us to the next stage thereafter. These are 4 fundamental things which everybody has to do in the same systematic way. And next we will go on to the next stage, how things can improve over the process. And I think it's enough for the time being. Thank you very much.